There was once a monk who had everything: wealth, status, a family who adored him, a mind so sharp, people traveled for days just to hear him speak. And then, in the span of 1 year, he lost all of it. His fortune, his reputation, his son. And yet, 10 years later, those who met him said he was the most at peace of any person they had ever encountered. This is his story, and somewhere in it is yours. His name in the old texts was simply called the Teacher. He was not born into wisdom, he was born into privilege. By the age of 30, he had built a trading empire across 3 provinces. He employed hundreds. He was respected. He was envied. And like most men who have everything, he was quietly miserable. He mistook busyness for purpose. He mistook applause for love. He mistook wealth for worth. Sound familiar? The first crack appeared when his business partner betrayed him, taking half his wealth and vanishing overnight. The second crack, his reputation, built over a decade, was shattered by rumors he couldn't disprove. And the final blow, the one that broke him completely, was the illness that took his youngest son before the boy turned 7. He told people later, "I didn't lose my faith that year. I lost the version of myself I had spent 30 years building." And that, as it turns out, was the most important thing that ever happened to him. For 2 years after, he wandered. No destination, no plan. Just grief wearing the shape of a man. He slept in temples. He ate what strangers offered. He spoke to no one for weeks at a time. Most people who saw him pitied him. One old monk, sitting outside a crumbling monastery in the hills, did not. The old monk looked at him and said, "You walk like a man carrying a house on his back, but I see no house." The teacher asked what he meant. The old monk smiled. "The house is gone, but your back is still bent." That line stopped him completely, because he realized for the first time that his suffering was no longer about what he had lost. It was about the habit of loss, the identity of a broken man he had quietly chosen to become. He stayed at that monastery for 3 months, not because he was asked to, but because something in him, some quiet part he had never listened to, knew he needed to stop moving. The old monk gave him 3 instructions, only 3. The first instruction: sit with what you cannot fix. Every morning, before sunrise, the teacher was told to sit in silence and think about everything he had lost. Not to solve it, not to grieve it, just to sit with it the way you sit with an old friend. For the first week, it was agony. For the second week, it was heavy. By the 3rd week, it was just quiet. He learned that most of his suffering had not been caused by his losses. It had been caused by his refusal to let them be real. The second instruction: do one thing completely. The old monk asked him to sweep the courtyard each morning, the same courtyard, every day. The teacher asked, "When will I be done?" The monk replied, "When you stop thinking about being done." This was his introduction to presence, to the realization that a mind scattered across past regrets and future fears is a mind that is never actually alive. He swept that courtyard for 90 days. By the end, he said it was the most meaningful thing he had ever done. The third instruction: let people see you. This was the hardest one. The teacher had spent his whole life curating an image: successful, strong, unshakable. The old monk told him to sit with the other monks at dinner and simply answer honestly when they asked how he was. Not, "I am fine," not, "I am learning," but the truth. Whatever it was that day, the first night he said, "I am ashamed." The monks nodded. One said, We know that feeling well, and something, after years of isolation, cracked open in him. What the teacher found was not happiness. Let me be clear about that. He did not find happiness. He found something older, something quieter, something that happiness actually rests on, but that most of us never reach because we are too busy chasing the surface. He found equanimity, the ability to be moved by life fully, deeply, without being destroyed by it. He grieved his son every day for the rest of his life. That never left him. But the grief became part of him, not a wound, but a depth, a well of compassion he drew from when others were suffering. He began to teach again, not from a place of authority, but from a place of having been completely broken and choosing each day to return to what was true. Students came from across the region, and when they asked him what the secret was, what he had learned in those years of wandering, he always gave the same answer. Nothing was taken from me that was ever truly mine. His wealth, never his. It was made possible by 100 people, 1,000 circumstances, a stroke of fortune he hadn't earned. His reputation, never his. It lived in the minds of others, built on their perceptions, not his reality. Even his son, not his to keep, only his to love, for as long as love was possible. The mistake, he said, is not in loving. The mistake is in believing that love means permanence. So what does this mean for you, sitting here, watching this, carrying whatever it is you are carrying right now? Lesson 1. Your losses are not punishments. They are not signs that you did something wrong or that life is against you. They are the price of having lived, of having loved and built and tried. The monk didn't become wise despite his losses. He became wise because he stopped fighting them. Lesson 2. The version of you that you are defending is not you. The teacher's real suffering began long before he lost his wealth. It began the day he started protecting an image instead of living a life. Ask yourself honestly, how much of your energy goes toward maintaining a version of yourself that you are not sure you even believe in anymore? Lesson 3. Presence is not a reward for solving your problems. It is available to you right now, in this moment. The courtyard can be swept today, not when things are better, not when you have figured it all out. Today, the monk did not find peace because his life became easier. He found peace because he stopped requiring it to be. The last record we have of the teacher is a single line written by a student decades after his death. It read, "He was a man who had lost everything, and because of that he was afraid of nothing." If something in this story landed for you, sit with it. You don't need to share it. You don't need to act on it immediately. Just let it be real for a moment. And if you want more stories like this, you know where to find them.